Joining us now for CNBC exclusive on none other than Valentine's Day is Match Group CEO Mandy Ginsberg. Mandy, your company is a juggernaut. Will you please explain to people how many millions of people have relied on you?
Well, it's pretty incredible. We now have tens and tens of millions of people on our apps across 190 countries. So this is really a global phenomenon, and it keeps growing.
I think that you got to tell people about your tiering, which is about as brilliant as possible. That a lot of my friends of the younger generation have switched to gold. Could you please tell us what you get with gold versus plus? And believe it or not, these are two terms that the younger generation swears by.
Okay, so what you're talking about is how we monetize on Tinder. And
Yes.
so these are different features. And so we've had Plus for a while. We recently introduced in October Gold. Gold is very simple. It's a likes you feature. So you get to see who's liked you, which is probably the most human-driven, curious thing, is like, I want to know who's interested in me. When we launched it, not only did we launch it as a separate subscription product, but we also priced it higher, and it's been a real win for the business.
It's algorithmic.
So do the likers know when they like somebody who's bought that extra level of
Well, what
visibility?
happens on Tinder is people are swiping and you're not sure who likes you. Now with this likes you feature, which is we've marketed as gold, it's pretty efficient because now you see all the women or all the men who are interested in you.
But the likers, do they know?
Yes.
Do they know
Yes.
who's gotten that
Yeah.
level of visibility?
That's
Okay,
right.
so there's
Tinder added 544,000 subs in the fourth quarter. Is that growth only continuing to grow? Can you continue at that rate?
Well, I mean, when we introduce a subscription product to millions and millions of people, you definitely see it ebb and flow. So you see tons of people that get exposed to this new feature. So it will come down a bit. And so we're not expecting these growth rates, but we're seeing tremendous growth.
Is Tinder the most significant of the portfolio of businesses you own?
Yeah, I mean, we operate 38 brands globally. Tinder is our biggest growth. And we also are seeing real global expansion with Tinder.
Let me just a minute. I'm going to put this as kind of a family way to put it. There seems to be, I think, a schism. You have some of the people who use your product for what I would say is a very special one-off evening, and others who have done long-term relationships. Given that it's Valentine's Day, look, and I make no judgments. It's not my judge. But which do you think is the one-night stand versus long-term relationship?
Well, this is Romance Day. Come on. So,
well, a lot of people think long-term. Some of our guys are traders.
Mutually exclusive. One can turn into the other.
That is true.
How many do? How many do?
So I'll tell you. So a lot of our users find dates, relationships, marriages, and you open up the New York Times marriage section, and you'll see Tinder weddings as well.
Right.
So people use our products for a variety of reasons. I also think that if you think in the U.S. alone, 10 years ago, 3% of relationships started on apps. Now it's over 30%.
Wow.
So it's happening
Mobile.
here.
Mobile.
And what's happening here is now transcending across the globe, where there's a lot higher stigma, and as that erodes, we think we're going to grow those markets fast as well.
It says here you have 45 brands, including Match, OkCupid,
Right. Yeah.
Tinder. Can you really slice and dice the dating community 45 different ways, or is that also regional, like is that Tinder Australia?
Yeah,
or?
no, it is regional. For example, we've got a great growing business in Japan called Pairs, which is a little bit more serious. We've got a brand here in the U.S. for over 50 called Our Time. And so it depends. It's really about market segmentation. One size does not fit all in this category, and the portfolio approach globally really does make sense.
I remember talking to Diller it's already a couple of years ago probably, but
Barry
he was
Diller
extolling
from
the virtues of Tinder. IAC is your largest shareholder, 80%. You could walk into a bar and use it because of geographic location as well. Is that the case? In other words, you can know everybody around you?
You can. That's a little bit...
You can avoid conversation and actually just be on your phone, even though you're in a social place?
So what happens is you want to match with people who are relevant to you, and those are people who are in your neighborhood. You don't want to match with people that are 50 miles away, especially in a place like New York City. And so we really provide you relevant matches versus your destination, but we're not telling you who's sitting next to you.
Has IAC given any indication as to their plans for that 80% stake? Do they continue to hold it? Is there a plan to monetize it over time?
I mean, at this point, the stock's doing really well. Our business is doing well, and I know that there's been a history for spinning off and evaluating different options, but at this point, we feel pretty good about where we are.
I need to ask you about affinity groups. We were talking about Olympics, sir. It seems like that there are people who are in particular places, particularly people who are in a foreign country, where you get a spike of usership.
Yeah, I mean, 4 years ago in Sochi, we saw the Olympic Village blowing up, and we saw swipe rates increase, and people community, not just athletes, but also people coming to the Olympics. And we're seeing it again, like 600% increase in swipe rates in the Olympic Village in South Korea right now. It's pretty exciting, yeah.
Well, Zev Fima, who's one of my fabulous associates, wants to thank you because he met his intended crew.
How charming. That's very sweet.
He said, listen, you got to understand the way it works, man. We're gold members. It almost sounded like Amazon Prime.
It's not bad.
Congratulations to you, Mandy,
Thank
for
you.
really just knocking the cover off the
Thank you.
And he goes, great.
Thank you.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.